What?
Hello from Hawaii.
So as a local born and raised here in Hawaii, I like to think that I've lived here long enough and have a pretty good understanding of local people to recognize when I see local people being caught up in certain fads. Now, I'm not here to make fun of people who may do some of these things, although it may come across that way. Instead, I just hope that we can take a step back and notice the trends and things that local people seem to be caught up in these days. By definition, fads are popular trends that will most likely fade away. And honestly, it'd be quite ironic if these fads made their way into local culture in the long term. And just to even the playing field, I will share some of the fads or trends that I got caught up in Hawaii in the past as well. Is the transformation complete? Okay, I just gotta ask, what is up with the big sunglasses, particularly for a lot of local guys here? Is it some kind of social media thing I'm not aware of? Because I'm seeing more and more local guys with these huge wraparound glasses. Not like the typical athlete ones, but these are like extra. These are like extra large. Now, I do remember that these were popular back in the 80s and early 90s. In fact, the first time I saw these wrap sunglasses was on a golfer named David Duval. He wore these Oakley wraps that, man, I thought at the time were so cool, but they weren't this thick because these sunglasses are starting to cover up my cheeks a little, you know, like normal sunglasses, they'll cover up your eyes, but these sunglasses, I get the wrap idea, but these are starting to cover up almost to your nose. But back in the 90s when I was rocking these types of sunglasses, I remember my dad bought a pair of off-brand because we couldn't really afford the Oakley ones. And so my dad found these pair of wrap sunglasses at Long's of all places, and I liked them. They just seemed to fit my face, and I used them a lot for golf. Now, getting back to the big sunglasses, I guess I just don't get it. Just saying, like, these look huge, and maybe with the hat they look a little bit better, but they look almost like ski goggles. But I will admit, rather sheepishly, that when it comes to fads that you just don't understand and you actually try them, there's that moment, I will admit, that I looked at myself in the mirror and I thought, do these look good? And then I snapped out of it and said, no, of course not. They look ridiculous. They're humongous. And again, I do appreciate the fact that people are making sure that they're taking care of their eyes, because eye protection is a very important thing. It's the reason why when I was picking my Maui Gym sunglasses, I went actually a little oversized. I mean, I picked Amberjack as my frame, which if you're familiar with Amberjacks, they're one of the larger ones and they have added eye protection. But it was within reason. They weren't gigantic sunglasses. Now, I don't know how long this fad is gonna last, if it's gonna be a flash in the pan or if it's gonna be a consistent thing, or I guess we'll have to wait and see what the high school kids do once they kind of grow up. But I don't think I could get into these types of sunglasses. I'm not trying to look like Judge Dredd over here. All right, I gotta take these off because honestly, it's a little embarrassing. The second fad that I noticed here in Hawaii that's been picking up for the past few years is pickleball. What is the deal with local people playing pickleball? I guess I just don't get it. I mean, I used to play pickleball back in high school. We played at Castle when I took summer school for PE. And when I played that game, the thing that I thought to myself was, it's kind of like stand-up ping pong with a wiffle ball. It just seemed so slow. It's 2-on-2 and the ball doesn't go very fast. You got the wood paddle, it's like, and at that point, after that summer, I was like, okay, I'm never playing this again. Then I started noticing a lot of local people playing pickleball, especially in the past maybe 5 or so years. Primarily, they were kapuna, and I thought to myself, oh, that's awesome, right? Anything to get kapuna outside, exercising, socializing, that's just wonderful. But now, it's getting to be almost a local obsession activity. The other day, we were at this park in Kamuki, and there's a playground next to the park, and so we're trying to focus on the playground for my sons. And as we're driving by the park, they happened to have some tennis courts or pickleball courts, and there were like 50 kapuna there, all hanging out, and you could see all the cars lined up. And I'm thinking to myself, what's going on? And that was just a regular weekend morning. That wasn't like a tournament or anything, but there's like 50 people hanging out there. But again, that's awesome for that Kapuna group and for those Kapuna to get out and to be active and to socialize and have something that they enjoy. But then there's this younger crowd, maybe middle-aged, but definitely there's this younger crowd of people, maybe in their 20s, early 30s, that they are really into pickleball. I mean, they got the gear, they got, they've invested some money into this hobby of theirs. But to me, it's so strange because I associate pickleball with Kapuna. It's a Kapuna activity, yet you got these younger people playing this sport, which again, that's wonderful that they're getting out. It just seems very odd that, again, what I associate with like a Kapuna activity, you got all these sort of more serious CrossFit type people smashing the balls and playing. And really, I think pickleball in Hawaii deserves its own video. I've been thinking about it for a very long time. In fact, I have a couple of cousins who are very competitive in pickleball here. They're younger, in their 30s and 40s. They're fairly successful. They've traveled to the mainland for tournaments. I was like blown away that they're actually into this thing. And maybe they can take me out and try to explain to me the nuances of the sport, because to me, as just a general observer, it just seems very simple. You have 2-on-2 primarily, and you're just kind of hitting the ball back. I know there are angles, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of movement, and maybe that's what makes the sport so attractive. You're primarily standing there and you're kind of just hitting the balls back and forth, scoring, and I get it, the games are typically a lot faster. It's not like tennis where you got to run after the ball. Serves are a lot. Got it. But I guess for me, I don't see the appeal so much, and maybe it's one of those things that if I try it again these days and people were able to explain to me, well, maybe I would enjoy the game. This last fad, I noticed this on the roads. It's a certain type of car sticker. I actually had to look this up online because I didn't know what they were called. It's like a sticker with a anime character, like a cartoon character, but it's like half their face, like this. And at first I didn't quite understand it because I thought, where's the rest of the sticker? Did they just like cut it themselves and they just put it there on like the bottom of their car window? But actually they're designed that way. They're called peaker stickers, and I was like, oh, okay, I had no idea what that was. But I started noticing these a lot more in Hawaii. And it makes sense in Hawaii. We have a lot of Asian influence. We have a fairly large Asian population, and we have a lot of people who are interested in manga or anime. Not that you have to be Asian to be interested in that, just that you have a lot of people here, Asian, non-Asian, who are interested in those types of things. And hey, I love anime too. I love some of the stories. My favorites being Pokemon, I guess if you consider that anime, Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Death Note, and Full Metal Alchemist. But then I started noticing these stickers for some of these characters. And it's not just one character on your car window. I started to notice that oftentimes it becomes 2, 3, 6. What's going on here? How many stickers we got going? And in Hawaii, we have car stickers. Now usually you got your school, like high school, maybe you might have your occasional college sticker, UH sticker, maybe a political sticker if it's, election season, or maybe you got the Keep the Country or the 96744 back in the day. And again, this is a very, very small thing, but a trend that I have noticed over the years, and I'm just curious, where did this fad start? Because I don't remember people putting their favorite anime characters on their car windows. Oh, it's all wet, but it's okay. I'm gonna just have a seat here. Now, while I don't particularly understand these fads or trends or where they came from, I do know that we're all influenced by marketing or advertising, whether it's traditional or through things like social media. And hey, I remember a time when highlighted hair was the thing. Baggy pants, baggy clothes. Local kids, we used to turn our t-shirts inside out so that the tag was showing and the front design was backwards. And of course, the only drink I would have whenever we would go out to a restaurant or McDonald's was Sprunch. which is, if you don't know, it's fruit punch and Sprite mixed together. And for some reason, I thought that was really great. Won't lie, sometimes I get it even now. And again, I point out these fads, or what I perceive to be fad, to ask, I think, the overarching question of, does anybody else notice these things, or is it just me? Because this is how local cultures change. This is how Hawaii's local culture will change. And we're gonna see if in 10, 20, 30 years, if these types of things make their way into local culture. I mean, who knows? Maybe in 10 years, you're gonna see local brother driving to a pickleball match with the huge sunglasses, and on his car, he's gonna have anime peaker stickers. It could happen. So thanks for watching, and aloha.